So hello, we are Victor Martín Orojo from Spain.
Franziska Altorfer from Switzerland.
And Gisberto Evangelisti from Italy, members of the new AO Spine Youth Club. Welcome to the Expert Insight series, where we interview worldwide spine surgeons who generously share their professional and personal experience with us.
Today we are honored to interview Dr. Juan Emmerich from Argentina, chair of the Department of Neurosurgery at Hospital de Niños de La Plata, and a valued staff member at Hospital Español de La Plata in Argentina.
Dr. Emmerich recently began his new role as the chairperson-elect of the AO Spine International Board on July 1st, 2023, following a 4-year term as chairperson of AO Spine Latin America. Beyond his role with AO Spine, Dr. Emmerich continuously contributes to the field of spine surgery as the deputy editor of the Global Spine Journal.
Thank you for accepting our invitation. How are you today?
I'm fine, but I'm gonna do this interview in one condition, okay? Please call me Juan, no Dr. Emmerich. Dr. Emmerich is too formal. Start with Juan, okay?
Okay, Juan, that's totally fine. Thank you very much. So before we begin, please tell us your full name, specialty, and for current position.
Yes, I believe almost nobody knows my full name, so this will be just something for you. My name is Juan Pablo Emmerich. You know, here in Argentina, a lot of us used to have two names, but since 15 years ago, everybody moved to one name. So my full name is Juan Pablo Emmerich, and my current position is the chair of the Department of Neurosurgery in the Child Hospital here in La Plata. I work, as Martin already says, in the Spanish hospital. That is a really good hospital here in my city. And I have a long commitment with your spine since, I don't know, 15 years. And now I am the current chair-elect for the Spine International Board.
Thank you so much, Juan. So from your surname, we guess that you are from Argentina. What are your roots? Where do you come from? Where did you grow up?
I am the traditional Argentinian. That means nobody's from here, really. All my grandfathers came from Europe. You know, I ran this DNA test, and 100% of my blood is from Europe. Probably I have more European blood than all of you, that you are original from Europe. And this is, but I mean, not 99%. I mean, pure 100. That is very crazy, but this is very traditional here. I was born and raised, and I hope to death, in the same city that is called La Plata. La Plata is the capital city of the state of Buenos Aires. It's very close to the city of Buenos Aires, that is our national capital. It's a really nice place to live because it's a mid-sized city. It's around 1 million persons live here, but we still have things from a small city. You know, it's very easy to move from one part to another. Don't be jealous. It's very easy, you know. And when I have time, my office in my private practice is 400 meters from my home, so it's very easy to go walk to any place. Great. Yes, move from the in rush traffic in the worst time. Move from one part to the city to the other could take 15 minutes. Very easy.
Wow, that's amazing.
15
nice place to live.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's comfortable.
Absolutely.
How did you begin your career in spine surgery? Was that always your goal, or how did you end up there?
No, you know, I came from a family of doctors, but my father and my mother, my father is a pediatrician and my mother a gynecologist. So yes, I decided to go to the medicine school, but it was a big surprise for my family because everybody looks in me an engineer. You know, I don't have the profile of a medicine doctor, but I decide. And, you know, since here at that time was 7 years in the university. So in 4 or 5 years, I said, look, I want to do something. I have my own patients, but I want to have something to have surgical skills. So at the beginning, I believed that orthopedics could be a good option. And in my 6th year in the medicine school, I go to a big hospital here, wonderful experience. The first time I go to an operation room, I see a brain surgery, you know, and my life changed instantly. Because I don't know if all of you are ortho or are neuro?
Ortho.
Ortho.
I used to do neuro. I first
me.
did neuro and switched to ortho. So, but
well,
I know the
the
pulsing
first
of
time
the
you
go
dura
in the operation
changes.
room and you see a brain surgery is something big different, you know, because
Yes.
when we do a spine and you are looking for outside, you don't see very well. But when you see a brain surgery from outside, you see at the same time that the surgeons, and you know that was amazing. See a brain, and in that first surgery, I says, look, I want to be a neurosurgeon. I love that, and you know, very slowly I moved to spine surgery because my mentor at that time was a famous neurosurgeon who do 50% at that time spine surgery. So very slowly I was moving to spine surgery, but at the beginning I want to become a neurosurgeon, brain neurosurgeon.
Nice.
In your opinion, what are the advantages and disadvantages of being a spine surgeon?
So these disadvantages will be very long. So start with the advantages. No, you know, it's a really good specialty. I believe it's something nice that compared with another, for instance, with neurosurgery, it's very challenging decide which patients will benefit with one particular surgery, when you need to wait, when you go to an open surgery, when you go to MIS surgery. You know, the challenge in a spine surgery is not to perform the surgery. That is relatively easy, you know. The big challenge is to choose which patient is gonna have some clear benefits with the surgery, and you know, you go for a posterior approach or anterior approach. I have a funny history. You know, in one of our courses, like 10 years ago, every time I end the courses, I go to talk, of course, with the faculties, but as well with the staff, you know, but I mean with the staff, not only with the people from the foundation, I mean with the translators, with the people with AV, IT. And one funny thing, in one of these conversations, the guy who was cleaning the room, you know, he worked for the staff of the hotel, told me, I asked, what do you believe? And said, doctor, this is crazy, you know? I mean, what do you see is crazy? You present a case, 50% says treat it, the other 50% say don't treat it. And after that, you argue 1 hour if it's better go for anterior approach and the posterior approach. You know, I believe that everybody agree with it will be the best treatment. And you know, this is something really challenging. Even in the master courses, we argue a lot, and there is not a big consensus. So, you know, for me, spine surgery still is a big challenge to decide, you know, the best treatment. I ask a lot of other opinions for big surgeons sometimes, and you know, I put a lot of energy to try to identify. That will be probably something that is nice. You know, this means that every day I need to keep, you know, open mind, try to think that I don't have the solutions for all the patients, that sometimes, you know, there is not a clear good or bad solution, and to be very honest with the patients. A lot of times I say, look, you probably could benefit with this kind of surgery, but I am not sure, you know, because I have a lot of experience, I have a lot of information, but that doesn't mean that I have the final answer. So probably as a good thing is that, as a bad thing, is quite a challenge. You know, a lot of times you do everything perfect, but that doesn't work. Sometimes you put a lot of energy and that doesn't work. And you need to be prepared that there are a lot of patients that you really can cure them. You could treat a little bit, but you need to be really honest with them, because sometimes, because they do a, you know, spine surgery, you know, you're never gonna have the right answer very easy. A lot of patients need, you know, to deep dive in the pathology, because the easy thing is to perform the surgery. The tricky thing is decide which patient will benefit and what specific techniques you decide for that patient. And you know, that is something nice, because you always keep open mind. to try to identify which is better for each patient. And as this vintage is a tricky specialty, a lot of time you did everything, let's say perfect, never is perfect, but you do everything by the books. However, the patients don't have, a good evolution. The follow-up is not nice. He or she keeps remain with pain, a big issue we have nowadays is the patient have a lot of information, not good information, but a lot of information from internet, the magazine in the airplane, and these kind of things. And they came with unrealistic, ideas or unrealistic level of looking for something that you can't give to that patient. So
really high.
Yeah, high expectation. Thank you. So that is a big challenge, and that is a big problem, and you need to be prepared, because the first time you did everything, let's say perfect by the books, and the patients don't have a good evolution, you don't feel nothing good, you feel really bad, really bad.
Thank you. So reflecting on your professional journey, who do you think is the person that has been the biggest inspiration to you?
Yes, in my case, that is very easy, because I have two mentors during my entire career. Like I told you, that neurosurgeon I met that day continued to be my mentor 30 years later, almost 30, 25 years later. That is Jorge Lambre. He's a really well-known neurosurgeon here in Argentina. And with any doubt, the other big name is his partner, that is Nestor Fiore. He's an ortho, so I was training both ortho and neuro in spine surgery. And we work together, orthos and spines, since ever. They are working together before I arrived, so probably they are working together since 40 years ago. So these two persons, with any doubt, are my mentors, my stepfathers, everything. I learned absolutely everything for both of them, and they are absolutely amazing, because they are really different between each other. One is full of energy, the other is the voice of wisdom. One want to, treat no matter if 2 a.m., the other says we need to wait until tomorrow. So, that combination between Qin and Shan, it was amazing for me, and I have, really two good examples that was very different. So that was absolutely amazing for me.
Great.
So which one are you now? Are you the voice of wisdom or the energy guy?
That is amazing, because between that two amazing persons, you have everything that is good and everything that is bad.
Yeah.
Because if you, and I try to, this is one of the recommendations of one of them. He told me, the voice of wisdom, he told me, you need to pick the good things of each of us and try to avoid the bad things. So probably, at the beginning, I was probably most of the crazy part. Now I am most of the wisdom part. And joking aside, that is true. I see how I am changing with the years. And I try to become a little bit more chilly, a little bit more calm, take things with calm and with time. So probably I am in the transition, to become the most wisdom part.
Nice. So what character traits do you think make a successful spine surgeon when you observe so many surgeons or spine fellows?
Yeah, that is a really good question, I am not sure if, could I say a characteristic, but you don't have any clue how easy it is for us to see the people who have the qualities to become a good surgeon. It's very easy. I could tell you, after 2 or 3 talks with a 95% of accuracy, I could tell you who is gonna do it and who don't have the energy. And probably it's a combination between, energy, clear ideas, a clear plan. I don't know if in English it's the same word, resiliency. or something like that.
Resilience, yes.
Resiliency, thank you. You know, be prepared to work 24/7, but I don't like to work 24/7. You know, be prepared. That means, you know, be prepared to spend the whole weekend probably thinking a patient, be prepared to, you know, fulfill a deadline, but at the same time, be prepared to spend a whole week reading about resiliency, for instance. So it's a combination of a lot of things, but it's very easy for me and for your bosses and your mentors. Look for these conditions in all of you, and that is the reason that you probably are here.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I am not kidding. I am not kidding. It's much, much more easy. You see the movie Matrix?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
When Neo can see the code at the end of the movie, in some way for us, it's very easy, you know, because as you said, you probably talk with a lot of really good surgeons in the last couple of months. And when you talk with, I don't know, Lenky, Pedro, Berjano, it's very easy, you know, you can see, for instance, everybody take a lot of importance in their personal health, you know, because we understand that our body is our, you know, company. So we try to rest, we try to eat good. So you can start to see some patterns that is very easy. And it's the same with young surgeons, you know, people who are prepared to do the extra mile, people who want to be updated, people who are not so concerned with the money at the beginning, that are prepared to travel, to go to a course, to be the first to be in the course. It's very easy because move hands is very easy. It's much more easy than you think. You know, you have amazing surgeons. They are really not good surgeons, if you allow me, but they are so clever, so smart that they can do much better than people who are gifted with their hands. That is not so important at all.
Oh,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you.
And we've been talking about technologies a few minutes ago. Do you think that artificial intelligence will play a role in the way future spine surgeons are trained?
You know, AI is amazing. I start to use ChatGPT probably 1.5 years when was announced, and have frequently conversations about, you know, religion, ethics, and these kind of things that are absolutely amazing, because it's very easy to resume, you know, a PowerPoint or something like that. That is a piece of cake. And for sure gonna impact, because it's gonna impact, is really impact nowadays in our entire life. You know, English is not my first language, as you can easily see. And thanks to ChatGPT, I can write in English absolutely perfect, you know, because I write something, I go to ChatGPT and they do it perfect. And I can ask, do it in English like Shakespeare, do it in English like British, like American, whatever you want. So nowadays is impact. But for sure, artificial intelligence is amazing in diagnosis. You know, we are seeing nowadays in radiologists, in pathologists, sorry, and of course, make a lot of sense for us as spine surgeons, especially in diagnosis and probably to select the right treatment. There are two groups that are working very well, one in Europe with Ferran Pellicer from Barcelona, in the other in North America with Chris Ames. They are working extremely well with these things, and you know, they are showing amazing results. Probably not now, but in the future, without any doubt, because when you need to process a lot of information very quickly, like for instance, we are still looking for an MRI and try to look something, looking for a diagnosis. Just figure the machine are absolutely amazing in that. But after that, what we're going to do with that information depends on us in humans, because for instance, what we already talked about spine surgery, I have plenty of patients with really ugly MRI, but they're doing perfect. And in the opposite, patients who can't move are, you know, screaming for the pain, and you see the MRI and it is absolutely perfect. So there are a lot of things that are besides diagnosis. but this technology is evolving very fast, so for sure. But again, I am not so sure how it's gonna impact in the quality of life of the patients, because it's the same with the robots, it's the same with the O-arm, with the C-arm, with the MIS. Technology are amazing, but we are really improve the quality of life for our patients. To be honest, I am not 100% sure about that.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Should we be afraid of AI, in your opinion, or in some way?
People who are really smart and who are working very close with this technology are really afraid. Are really afraid. You see, a couple of weeks ago, we are February 26 nowadays, so 2024, just in case, for the future. 1 week ago, the CEO of Microsoft says we need to do something really fast with this. We need to turn off or slow down a little bit, because they really don't understand very well how things are working. This technology is so new, but we can say the same with, for instance, nuclear energy. We can use for good things or bad things. At the end of the road, gonna depend on us. But if you see how, for instance, the nuclear weapon was developed, they don't have any clue about that. And was the same when they turn on this amazing machine that is between Switzerland and France, the particular accelerators.
CERN, yes.
CERN, again. Quite similar, they really are not 100% sure. So we don't need to be afraid, but we need to be very careful, because it's an amazing technology, but we need to be prepared to better understand how we can use it for good things.
Yeah, definitely. So Dr. Emmerich, we know your career is linked to AO Spine. In which way has it influenced the way you work and your life?
Yeah, it's interesting, because in the way I work probably affect, let's say, 20, 40%. In the way I think and in the way my life, 100% absolutely. Because, technical skills are important, but this organization has something unique. I came from a poor country. Unfortunately, it's a poor country and not a big city, because I don't live in Buenos Aires. However, I have the opportunity to share time with the most amazing people in the world. I have the opportunity to travel a lot, but even more important, to spend quality time with the real leaders, with surgeons from around the world. I have friends, really friends, in India, Africa, Europe. But I mean Europe, every country, every city. Every time I have some of my friends is traveling, in Czech Republic, and says, look, I have the problem. Don't worry, call Slenek on my behalf. I'm gonna send the personal number, and people really can't believe it, because 20-minute letters. I send patients with Roger Hart, with Dan Ryu. I have friends in Sao Paulo, any country, any city. For me, it was a game change life experience, absolutely. At the beginning, I don't speak English. I still do it, but improve a lot. I never take an English lesson in my life. Again, as you can easily see, yeah, I learned talking and by the movies and the sitcoms. Just a couple of lessons in elementary, but not anymore. I speak a decent Portuguese, again, sharing experience. I learn a lot about, culture, different, realities. I have a more open mind about, the current scenario in Middle East, for instance, talking with friends. So it's absolutely changed my life and give me a lot of information that I am sure make me a better person, without any doubt.
Nice. So we know you received the AO Spy International Educator Award. What qualities do you think make a good educator?
Yeah. One thing that is probably one of my main areas of interest is all the things that we usually call, faculty development, but I believe it's better called personal development, no? And especially non-clinical skills, especially for you guys and for the group of young surgeons. is make a lot of sense. Nowadays, you are focused in clinical skills, they call hard skills. It's perfect, you know. But when you ask me which things are make the big difference are, you know, soft skills, non-clinical skills, and that are, you know, time management, you know, personal communication, emotional intelligence, and these kind of things that are extremely important. I am extremely involved in all the programs inside and outside the AO Foundation we have about leadership, personal development, faculty development, because there are a couple of things that nowadays are a little bit crazy, you know. If you're thinking, talk with your mentors or the big names in your department, 50 years ago, when we go to a meeting, we prepare our lectures 2-3 days in advance, not much more. You know, of course, we have the idea, but we are dealing with you don't have any clue what a real slide means, a real slide, no, a PowerPoint slide. We go with these crazy things. Come on, 50 years ago, I don't born yet, but you have the idea. And the staff usually was our wife, our husbands, our kids, they are working over there. 50 years later, we are still prepare our presentation 2 days in advance in the plane, you know, working with these kind of things. But our staff are PhD engineers, you know, people who are absolutely amazing. So there is a mismatch between doctors as clinical practitioners and doctors as educators, as leaders, and that is a big problem, you know, because let me put an example. I perform a lot, especially in the past, but we still perform a lot of primary tumors. So, you know, the last time I performed a sacrum, in-block sacrum resection probably is 5 years ago. And probably my entire life, I perform 8, 10, and I feel really lucky. But to be prepared for a total resection sacrum, I spend, you know, hundreds of hours reading, preparing, go to the operation room, look for another surgeons, you know, go to cadaveric course, read hundreds of papers to perform only 10 surgeries in my life. But in the other hand, I probably give 1,000 lectures every year. You know, I run 15 courses every year. I give, I don't know how many things, and I don't have any formal preparation for that. That is absolutely crazy, you know? If you think, you probably are fellows or you are ending your fellows. How many sacrum resections you perform, see, between 0 or 2? And that is a lot, again. And you spend a lot of time, but how many formal trainings do you have to how to wear in front of a camera? You know, how to use the technology. And you are young, you probably know very well the technology, but how we can improve a lot of things, you know, and that don't make any sense. So since probably 15 years ago, and that is one of the reasons that my peers give me that award. That was really nice because I love the awards that are, you know, given for our peers. I don't pay too much attention of the opinion of the patients, of the newspaper, because they don't have any clue. But, you know, recognition for peers is something nice. So that award was especially because I start to put all my energy to try to give to our faculties and to our members the best tools to works, you know, daily with, again, you know, PowerPoint presentations, to have the best information, to be effective when you give the lectures, you know, how to talk with patients, how to talk with residents. You know, there are a lot of things, a lot of tools that we can use.
What advice would you give to the younger version of you to excel as a leader in spine surgery?
Yes. So, will be different if I need to talk with you as young surgeons or if we need to talk with me. Let's say you're going to talk with me and I'm going to say probably trust in your decisions and keep calm, okay? Because at the beginning was tough, right? You know, it was tough. I decide to keep in my city when I have plenty of opportunities to go to another city or go to another country. I take decisions that in the long term was the really good decisions, but at the beginning was not so clear, because I decide again to keep in a not so big department, but with amazing surgeons. And they explain me, you need to be patient. And at the beginning, you want to do a lot of things. But like this movie, The Karate Kid, do you remember the movie? And on wax and that, for sure, that make the big difference. So probably for me will be, staying calm and trusting your decisions. And probably could be the same advice with you with a small, small and other things, that is have a clear plan in your mind, and don't worry about, for small problems that you're going to have every day, because you have plenty of small problems. But if you have a big plan in your mind, and keep your decisions at least for one couple of years. Don't move, because a lot of times says, look, I'm gonna go to New York to do a fellow, and I believe a couple of you are in New York, okay?
Yes.
You're in New York, both are in New York. And after, the first month is amazing, the second month is amazing, but after that, 3, 4, 6, it's really cold, really cold, it's a really expensive city. This big department, sometimes you don't see you have a big opportunity. You are smiling.
How do you know it?
Hey, okay. So, but wait, because things gonna start, you try to enjoy the experience, try to take advantage. And that is a big issue, especially for the millennials and the centennials. You probably are centennials already. That it's not your fault. Yes, you're a centennial. If you're not sure, you're absolutely centennial. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. But nowadays, we, the society, try to convince you that everything is in a couple of seconds. If you have a TikTok that have 45 seconds, that is absolutely a lot. TikTok need to be 20 seconds. Instagram. I see with my kids. They are really, really fast. That is not something bad or good. It's that way. But for a couple of things, it's amazing. But for another things, for instance, to do a long residency or a long fellow, is a problem, because you don't see the results as the pace you are looking for. So trusting your decisions, be a little bit patient, because you are doing things in the right way. So probably that will be my advice for young generations. I am not sure it's a good. I am sure it's a good advice, but probably you are looking for something more, fancy or sophisticated.
No.
That's just what we needed.
No.
Thank you, Juan.
And thank you for this advice.
So to end, we arrived to the end of the interview. Let's engage in a quick game in which we ask you a short question and you reply with a quick and fast answer. Okay?
I try.
Are you prepared, Dr. Emmerich?
Yeah, Juan.
So what's your favorite hobby?
I am not sure it's classified as a hobby, but I am extremely curious, about everything, so if you tell me that you are in New York living in Tribeca, probably for tomorrow I will be the world expert on Tribeca because I am extremely curious about everything. It's not only medicine, could be whatever. That is thanks to God, to these things. I have a much better life because I Google everything. I go to Wikipedia to forever. So I have plenty of hobbies that are technology, for instance. I love to read, but probably the main reason is I am extremely curious since I was a child. I destroy everything at home. You can talk with my mother. I want to try to dig inside everything to try to identify how things work. Curiosity, probably.
Your favorite book?
I read a lot. I am not sure if I have a favorite book. I have favorite authors. Probably, when I was young, I read a lot of Isaac Asimov because I love that, connection between science and science fiction. I love it. And now probably I read a couple of books per month if I have a little bit of time. I really love to read. I encourage to read. I read a lot of non-fiction nowadays, about leadership, biographies, history, technology a lot. For instance, I encourage to read the biographies by Walter Isaacson, who wrote about Einstein, Steve Jobs. He have a new book about Elon Musk, if you want to read something nice, but from Benjamin Franklin, it's amazing the good things about it. There are two other authors. One is Patrick Lencioni. He wrote a lot of small books about team building, leaderships, how to have better meetings that are very easy to read, very short. And probably the other will be Jim Collins. He wrote a lot of books that are very famous inside AO, Good to Great, Why the Mighty Falls, again. And I said that because we as doctors have some problems to read books about leadership or sociology or psychology because we have solid data, okay? And these authors, especially Jim Collins, treat these problems as we probably gonna treat, open surgery versus MIS. He have a really hard data analysis that helps a lot for us, at least at the beginning. But I really encourage to read a lot, not about medicine, about whatever you like. It's amazing.
So your favorite food?
Yes, because I am Argentinian.
Exactly.
The easy answer is barbecue, but I'm gonna go to milanesa. Do you know what is a milanesa?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Delicious.
Yes.
Milanesa, for people who don't have any clue, is a fry pan, like beef. It's amazing. Here, probably I eat milanesa 3 or 4 times every week, at least.
With beef or with pork or with turkey?
Well, a real milanesa here in Argentina is with beef. When
Really?
we said meat, for us is beef. In Argentina, meat and beef it's the same. We need to say, well, this will be a milanesa of chicken, could be of chicken, of fish, or whatever, but milanesa is for beef.
It's for beef.
Absolutely.
So music in the OR, yes or no?
I know people gonna hate me. I know, but it's absolutely not. But I'm gonna explain what. I love music. It's not a problem. I love music. But the issue in a big operation room, usually when we perform surgeries, we have fellows, 2 or 3 people observership, and because I work in a school hospital, there are residents from anesthesiology, from a scrub nurse, and usually in my operation room could be, especially when we do tricky things, between 50 to 20 persons inside the operation room. So if you have music, people believe that it's allowed to speak. So everybody start to speak. And in some moment, I can't listen what my assistant is gonna tell me. So I prefer to keep the operation room calm. I fully understand what people want to have music. In my private practice, when sometimes are not a big crowd inside the operation room, I allow to people put music. But honestly, I prefer, to keep calm things inside the operation room. Don't hate me. I know people say music. I put Iron Man. These kind of things. I prefer.
Such a personal thing. So.
And we always end our interviews with this question: what's a word that defines spine surgery for you?
Challenge, with any doubt,
Yeah.
And I am sure probably it's the most frequent question that people says. It's a challenge, like I told you at the beginning, I came from brain surgery, and at the beginning I performed aneurysm, very tricky brain tumors. I still perform some brain tumor in the occipital cervical junction. That is one of my main areas. That is a really, 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 really hard surgeries. But with any doubt, spine surgery is much, much more challenge because, again, diagnosis, select the right treatment is really a big challenge.
Thank you so much for joining us today and inspiring young spine surgeons from the AO Spine Youth Club all over the world. It was a true privilege.